Hey, welcome back to Afternoon Garage. So this is kind of a video that I put together a long time ago. So before I actually even started to even work on the engine, I took the taillights out and did some work on them. So what you're going to see is, you know, kind of from before, but it's all kind of relevant and it's good information to have to rebuild those taillights. So let's watch that video. I'll kind of tie it all into the end and see if we can make this work correctly. Right, here's those taillight lenses. You can see this one has a gasket. It's kind of fallen off here. This one doesn't. Also, this one has a little bit of damage in here, so I have to take care of that. You can see also that there's some bunch of corrosion in here, so we're gonna have to paint these again. Little bulb in there for a side marker light. So another thing is that we have a brass, looks like a brass screw that broke off in the housing. So that's not very good. We're gonna have to drill and tap that out. I tried to take it out with some pair of dikes, and I couldn't really grip onto it. I just wanted to cut. So the other thing we're gonna have to do is pull all these bulbs out. You can see they're standard 1156 style, with the exception of this one, which is dual filament. So this is an 1157. And of course, we're going to change that out with LEDs. This has a kind of a high color temperature, probably about 5K, 5500 or so. So it'll be quite bright. And then, of course, here's the 1157. So these are a little bit longer. You kind of want something to emulate the size, and yeah, that works pretty good. So let's pull these things completely apart, get the reflector out of here. And there's that small one there. And of course I have some replacements for this. A little bit different style than that. And you can see that this just kind of shines. It's going to shine right onto that reflector there. So that's a good thing. So yeah, pull the strip off of these. We'll clean them up really good at first. So I got these all cleaned up. You can see they went mostly back to white, which is okay. Put some silicone plugs in the light holes, should be sufficient. Keep the white on the paint side. Shouldn't be a problem. Let's go paint these up. Alright, here they turned out pretty good. So I've got my little divider in there. I'm going to have to find some weather strip for that. And then all these sockets, want to inspect all those, make sure they look good. they do look good in there, and those silicone plugs really helped there. But I'm probably going to stick and put some alcohol in there and maybe a wipe. So for the wiring, this right here was supposed to be in there like that, kind of seal that off. This thing's like hard as a rock right now, and I'm really not even sure if I want to save all these wires from 1977. So we'll also have to clean up the sealing surfaces on this. I'm probably going to put, probably going to put either some butyl or some foam in here. Foam would be better for servicing, probably come apart a lot easier. But we'll see how that works. All right, so here's how it's wired up with my waterproof connector here. I spared you the boring soldering that I did here. And I do know that there is another connector, right? It's kind of like a through-hole bulkhead type connector. But I want to put this one instead because I really don't want to mess around with anything that's going on up there and create a worst problem that I already have as far as open circuits and that kind of thing. And the problem I see is they rock in the socket. What I found was, and these were even worse. So you put them in there, you can see all that movement. If it opens up, that's a bad thing. Yeah, you can see I hooked it up and it didn't come on at first. You can't have that happening. So I think what I'm going to do is I'll put some solder right there, right about there, and then I'll file it down flat. So just have a little bit of solder in there, kind of bridge the gap. Look how that's swimming in there. And this one down here too is doing the same thing. Yeah, see that one's flickering too. You know, all these holes, they look really clean. Everything looks... all the connections look really good in there. Okay, now that fits much tighter. You can see it doesn't wiggle around very much. So we'll get on it electrically. There we go. And move it around. You can see it doesn't flicker at all. The other thing we're going to use here is there's actually something called bulb grease. We're going to use this product here. Inside of here, it resists corrosion and makes things conduct a little bit better. I think that's going to be fine. I don't see any problem with that. Alright, and as usual, this is taking way more work than I thought it was going to take. So basically, I wasn't using enough of this adhesive, and you definitely need to get it up underneath there or this seal is going to roll off of here. You can see how that kind of peels back there. Well, when you put the lens on here, it kind of squishes that back. So, alright, I want to say something about these lenses here. So this is the original Bosch lens for this, and it fits pretty good. The screw holes all line up very well. But you can see that that one had cracked, and well, it looks like crap. So it's actually, this whole thing's just shattered. So I went with the aftermarket ones and kind of went and put them on, and the screw holes didn't line up, and then it kind of buckled on one end. So what I ended up doing was just, you have to remove this little keeper here and then pop all these little screws out, all 3 of them, and then kind of line up your holes by sight. And what I found was this one up here, and I don't know if it's because the casting looks like it's bent right there. I don't know how that would have happened. And it's like that on both of them. So it's likely that this just happens over a period of years and it just kind of warped. So what I ended up doing was I took a small carbide bit that acted like kind of an end mill and kind of ovaled it out a little bit. And on the face of it as well. You want to make sure and the screw head can fit on there. And now that I've done that, there it is, kind of ovaled out a little bit. Well, now these screw holes now. There we go, I can see the threads on that top one. It's kind of hard to see that, but anyway, just something to note about these things. If they don't fit like right away, pop these screws out, kind of look at them and do a little finessing to line them up. What you don't want to do is you don't want to put these screws in sideways and get them all cockeyed in here with this pot metal, die-cast aluminum, whatever the hell it is. You don't want to cross-thread these screws in there because they'll snap off like that one that I had. But I think they're going to look pretty good. Time to test them. Go wire up the car. Alright, now I assembled these lights just to set up and test. Taking the lens off of this one because I was kind of thinking I had a problem. So let's we'll turn on the parking lights and see if those work first, and then kind of go for the turn signals. Alright, and there's the parking lights. Here's that side marker lights, everything looks good. Kind of do a wiggle test on the bulbs. So that all looks pretty good. So now I think I'll just leave those on and we'll just do a left turn and a right turn. Heat on. Alright, and it looks like they're flashing really slow. It's kind of going dim, but you can see this is, I did a left turn, and well, they're both flashing. So let's do a right turn and see if the same thing's happening over there. And you can see, I think this bulb here may be defective. I don't know, it's just like, looks like it's getting low voltage. These shouldn't be on at all. So something's definitely wrong here. I don't know how well this is going to show up on camera, but you can see this actually kind of goes dim. These lights shut off on the top. Not really, this is a single function bulb. In fact, it's a single filament type bulb. And well, it shouldn't be doing that. I don't even know how that's possible. Let's go see what the front looks like. Okay, I left the right turn signal on. You can see that just the right turn signal is blinking. I think I'm going to turn that off and turn on the left. Yeah, there we go. So everything's working up here. It's just the rear is really funky. So I think I'll do some research, come back and see if we can fix this. Okay, doing a little research. Looks like we may be able to have success in here. This is a tachometer. This is where the turn indicators are. So the instructions are to pull the blue with the white. Not the bulb, just the spade connector here. On both of these. Get those out of the way, and then what you want to do is you want to ground the other side of that. So we'll test it out first. Put some clips on that. I'll take this end and we'll just ground it to the tack here. So now what we'll do is turn the key on and turn the indicators on. Well, first of all, I would notice that the opposite arrow's flashing when I go to make a left turn, the right arrow's on, and vice versa here. But you can see these were lighting up and these weren't lighting up before. Let's go to the rear of the car and see if this fixed the problem. I hear it's running a little faster, so I may not even need to buy a flasher or anything like that. May already have something that will work with LEDs. Let's see if it fixed the rear. Hey, you can see there's no parking light on or anything like that, but the right's working, so we'll try the left. And there we go there, and there's no actual light coming on here. So I think that probably fixed the problem. Now we'll try the parking lights and make sure there's going to be no interference there. I'll do a left turn. You can see that side's not illuminating at all. This is great. And also this bulb's shutting off completely, whereas it was kind of a little bit dim before. So we'll hit the right turn. All right, there we go. And this also shut off completely. Here's how I wired that ground. I just I'm going to use the original wires, so it plugs into the back of the gauge. Well, this LED conversion works pretty well. Definitely not what Porsche had intended for. You know, like I think they kind of had some kind of a load-dependent flasher that acted as kind of a bulb out thing, to where if you had an incandescent bulb that went out, it would flash faster and let you know. Also, I did use white here as a reflector, and I also put a 6-pin waterproof connector on here. I really don't want to disturb the bulkhead connector in here. It's kind of the Porsche-esque type round bullet pins. So, hey, I added this and make it really easy to unplug this and service it. Also, you can see that, well, we're now onto the gauges. So next week I'll be working on those and kind of taking those out, maybe do some testing on them, refinishing them. They're kind of cloudy and they're kind of rusty. Maybe add some moisture in the cab, and well, I'll take care of that next week. Got anything out of this? Give me a like and subscribe if you haven't. This thing's coming right along.